Hi, I'm Julian from Adventure Bike Rider magazine, and I'm here in southern Spain, just north of the charming fishing village of Benidorm behind us, and we're here to test the brand new Honda CB1000GT. So what's new about this bike? Well, virtually everything. It's based on the Hornet 1000, which has been a bestseller for Honda, selling close to 1,000 units in the UK alone last year. Basically, this is a redressing of that engine into a GT setting. They've created a tourer for people who like sports bikes, and having ridden all over southern Spain today, and we spent about 140k today, really impressed at what they've done with the bike. I think they've absolutely nailed it in terms of the look of the bike, because it's maintained a sporty look but still having that tourer look. The line of the bike goes right from the back right to the pointy end at the front. The fairing isn't so large as to be intrusive, but it still gives you enough protection when you're out on the road. The bike comes with panniers as standard, so they've been actually built into the design to make sure they fit in with the design of the bike. This is the red one, as you can probably see. There are two other colour options. There's a grey and there's a stealth black options. I was at the NEC show yesterday, actually went up to look at this bike on the stand prior to riding it, and you could not get near the bike. There's that much interest in it. So it must be an awful lot of sports bike owners are looking towards what's the next step. And Honda have actually nailed it with this one. This is the next step. If you're coming off a Fireblade, if you're coming off a Hornet and want to do a little bit more travel, this could be the bike for you. Basically, we've got a 2017 Fireblade engine within there, and you can't go far wrong putting a Fireblade engine into any bike. This is the same one that is in the Hornet, but it's just slightly detuned, obviously detuned from where it was in the Fireblade, and then tuned just a little bit for the GT version, but not really quite so much. In terms of the engine, it's an inline 4, so super smooth, and nobody really does inline 4s better than Honda. This is such a sweet motor. Straight away you pull away from the thing, you think, this is so good. 6-speed gearbox with quick shifter, and it is typical Honda stuff. There's not a clunk, there's not a grinding noise all the way through the gearbox. You're tapping it up and down with the quick shifter. Absolutely flawless. Got cruise control as and when you need it. We've done some stuff on the motorway today. Absolutely just press the button. Really easy to use, and it just absolutely will pull and pull and pull. In terms of the gearbox, it's a 6-speed gearbox, but they've been really quite clever with their gearbox. First is obviously just a pull away gear, and the second to fifth gears are virtually the same as the Hornet. Really quite urgent and really quite punchy gears. And then sixth gear, once you get onto the higher speeds and onto the motorways, it's like an overdrive. If you are going to do massive miles on this one, it is absolutely superb for that. The engine just purring at 6,000, and you pull in sort of 70, 80, 90 with no problems whatsoever. So really impressive on the fast stuff on the motorway, just as impressive on the twisties. That power is there as soon as you turn the throttle, and the connection of the throttle to the engine, it's obviously ride by wire, as all of the bikes tend to be now, but it's absolutely such a good connection on there. You turn the throttle and the engine just roars. Standard pipe on it, nothing particularly special, but what a noise from that pipe. Really impressive. You can't help but love this bike once you open the throttle on it on an open road. Just superb. In terms of the handling of the bike, well, they've managed to keep it on the sporty side of touring. The geometry is slightly different to the Hornet, so there's a little bit more relaxed, and it's certainly not as sporty as a Fireblade. So it's really comfortable to sit on. Straight away you pull away, and it's immediately like, oh, I like that. I like the feel of this. In terms of the seat here, it's quite narrow in the centre, and the tank is actually quite wide. So initially, when you sit on it and you think, well, this is a little bit odd, but you soon get used to it. And actually, you're hugging onto the tank, and the handling is just absolutely superb. It is such a flickable bike. When you've been up in the mountains beyond Benidorm where we are now, it is just beautiful to tip into the curb, just flick from one side to the other. It doesn't feel sports tour at that point. It feels all about the sport. So, you know, if you're coming off that type of bike, this bike, the way it handles, will feel very familiar. You'll just be able to carry luggage on the back, so it's a win-win from every side. The suspension on this bike is a standout feature of the bike, because a bike within this price category, and we'll come to the price category later on, will really have relatively basic suspension. But what the Honda does is introduces electronic suspension both ends, and it is absolutely seamless. It is adjusting your ride and the damping at either end all the time as you go on. And in terms of the time it takes to adjust it, basically in the blink of an eye, it's made 4 or 5 adjustments. It is that quick and intuitive. In terms of how it adjusts, there are various riding modes. In each of the 5 riding modes, it adjusts suspension accordingly. And if you want to fiddle with those, you can certainly go into user mode and you can set the suspension exactly as you want it. The other side of it is that you can set it for the load on the bike. So you can set it for a rider on its own and no luggage, rider with luggage, rider with pillion in luggage. And in terms of the luggage, it comes with these big panniers to start off with, and it's homologated to have a top box on the back as well. It doesn't come with the rack to fit that, but certainly it's homologated to have that. So if you want to load it up for a long tour, you can certainly do that, and then you can adjust the suspension so it's the preload is there for 2 up with luggage. Normally you're spending upwards of 15,000 for a bike that has that. This is nowhere near that. It's really impressive in terms of suspension. Not once in the course of the day did I think, I wish it hadn't done that. This bike is so planted and stable all the time. No matter how fast you're riding or how slow you're riding, the bike just handles, gets on with it. So a big thumbs up for the electronic suspension on the GT. So how's the comfort on the bike? Well, it's a Grand Tourer. That's the whole point of the thing, and Honda have worked on that in order to make it a really comfortable bike to ride. The triangle between rider's seat and foot pegs and bars is relatively relaxed. The seat, although you can get a comfort seat, actually the standard seat, which I've ridden most of the day, all day comfortable, can't complain about that at all. It comes with a little screen at the front, really nice adjustment on that, which I'll just go up and down there. Really nice one-handed adjustment, slightly more complicated than it probably needs to, but it's certainly one-handed. The standard screen doesn't take off that much wind blow, so it doesn't give you the bubble that you kind of want when you actually put tall screens. So there's still 80 millimeters of adjustment within that, but if you want to have the actual real cover of a screen, you need to upgrade to the touring screen, which gives you a lovely bubble behind you. Put it in the top position on the motorway, you can pull 130, 140k, and you're in the bubble behind it. In terms of seat height, really low seat height, 825, so that means at 5'11", I could easily flat foot on that one. And even the comfort seat, the more padded one, is no higher. It's just a softer foam, so you can still flat foot at that sort of height. So really comfortable to that. The weight on the bike, what have we got here? 229 kilos, which is par for the course for a bike of this, but actually moving it around in the car park, it feels far lighter. Sometimes when a bike's certainly the bigger adventure bikes, when you're moving them around, backing them up into a space or whatever, you can really feel their weight and you can't push it backwards. This is really light on the steering, and you would actually feel it almost feels less than 200k when you move it around. So whatever Honda have done with the geometry and the balance within here, it's really impressive. It's a very easy bike to move around. For the pillion, it's a raised seat there. The grab handles are factored into the design, so they've still got the nice look that maintains the look of the bike. They're not ugly grab handles on the back, but they're really quite substantial for the pillion. So they thought about that as well. A high and nicely padded seat for that. So both the rider and the pillion are happy. Good comfort on the GT, which is exactly what you want if you're going to cover big distances on a bike. You don't want the person in the back thinking, I can't go another mile on this bike. So they've thought about that, both people on that bike. In terms of the brakes on the bike, well, we've gone for Nissins, which is a fairly standard Honda to go with, and you've got twin discs on the front, 310 millimeters at the front and a small 240 at the back. All day long, I've had no complaints with the brake, whether it's sort of heavy braking or just 2-finger braking into it and out of the corners. No complaints whatsoever. There's a 2-channel 6 IMU cornering ABS and normal ABS. So realistically, you're not going to get into trouble with that. All the technology is there. The bike is monitoring what's going on all the time. So if you're braking too hard into a corner and you're cranked over, it's slacking it off a little bit. So all bases counted on that one, and no complaints whatsoever on the bike, as strong as you'd like. So what tech have we got on the bike? Well, you've got the obligatory 5-inch TFT on the front and the really nice display, not too cluttered. You can vary 3 different ways of displaying the information, and you can have it with a black background or white background. I ran it with black background and it actually worked really quite well in bright conditions, but that would normally what you might have at night time. In terms of the instrument cluster and moving around between the things, Honda have perhaps learned from the abomination that they put on their Africa Twin with their 16 buttons on the left-hand side, and there's a much tidier little instrument cluster here and a toggle switch from side side to side. The heated grips are on a separate button alongside, and they come as standard. And the modes to move between the 5 riding modes, it's a separate switch as well, as is the cruise control. So they've separated out these functions, so you're not trying to roll through screens. And when you navigate into the screens, it's relatively simple and relatively intuitive. You can get to where you want to do and make those adjustments you want to. In terms of on the other side, not much to worry about. There's an actual button to activate the cruise control there, and the adjustment on the other side. You've got wheelie control, you've got traction control. Well, actually Honda called it torque control rather than traction control, but it comes to be much the same thing. So you can vary those around, and you can vary the engine braking and all those things. And again, that's within the user mode. If you want to change things around, you go into there, and there's infinite fiddling you can do if you're the kind of guy or girl that likes to fiddle with those various settings. If you prefer to just pick a mode and go, the Honda will let you do that. It's going to be in the showrooms. I think it's by March next year at 11,999. For the spec of this bike, it is absolutely incredible. The bike it's based on, the standard Hornet, is 9,099, and the P Hornet is 10,099. So for that extra to take it up to 12 grand, you're getting the luggage on the back, you're getting a centre stand, you're getting the quick shifter, you're getting the heated grips, you're getting the adjustable screen, you're getting all the things that go with the Grand Tourer, but a bike that still performs very much like the Hornet. Coming from a Blade, there's obviously quite a change. But if you're coming from a Hornet and think, this is a really nice bike, I love the power on it, but I could do with a bit more luggage capacity rather than sticking it all onto the seat. That's exactly where it comes into. You don't feel this is, I've come down to a touring bike. This is a touring bike for sports bike riders. 12 grand for all this, absolutely superb. And as I said, the interest that this bike has generated from seeing people swarming around it at the motorcycle show. I don't think there was another bike at MCL that was attracting quite so much attention. You could not get close to it. So we've actually really hit the market on the head with this bike. There's an awful lot of people who maybe it's time to move on from sports bike. I'm in that category. I've sold my Fireblade this year. This could be the one to actually tempt me to have another inline 4, but with a similar performance to that Blade that I loved from back in the day. So Honda got it exactly right with this bike, and everybody that's ridden it today has a similar impression of like, what a good job they've done. Does it do what it says in the tin? Well, absolutely it does. It's really nice when you come to a bike and it exceeds your expectations. I looked on the bike, it's just like, well, it's a repurposed Hornet. How exciting can it be? But actually, this is a really exciting bike to ride, and I think it'll sell really well. If the Hornet is already doing well with buyers, you know, to shift 1,000 units in the UK, that's 1% of the market for one bike. And if Honda can come anywhere close with this, they'll have done really well. It's going to be available, say, in March. And doubtless you'll be able to try it at the ABR festival later on in the year. But I'd go down to the showrooms, have a look at the bike and just check one out, because it's exactly what Honda do really well. They've got a concept, they've got a great engine in there, they've got great build quality around the outside, and it's marketed very well. So a big thumbs up for the CB1000GT. It's a cracking bike and you really should try it.